Hello, it's time for gentle yoga. So let's get started. If you have a yoga block, keep that nearby for today. And if you don't have a yoga block, you can try using a towel. I have a hand towel that I've rolled up, and I will demonstrate how to use that as well. So we're just going to do some poses at the end of practice that we will use either a block or the towel, just to increase the stretches and your relaxation. So let's start. We'll get to the mat, and let's start in wide knee child's pose. I'll meet you there. So while you're in your child's pose, try keeping your elbows down on the floor and just bend your arms and clasp your hands. And you might need to bring your elbows in closer to your head. And then as you are holding this, your hands are really just very passive, but try pushing your elbows down toward the ground. And you can feel a little bit of a stretch on the back of your arms. And then release your arms. Lift up just enough to be able to reach over to the side. So going to your right side, just a reminder, I mirror you. So lifting up and then lengthening your arms and aiming to drop your head down toward the ground, but walking your fingers away from you to try to get a big stretch along the side. And then bring your hands in. Gently lift and shift other way. Extending your arms. And today we're going to go very, very slowly. We're going to take time in each pose to breathe, to really pay attention to how the body feels today. And then come to the center. Return to child's pose. Open your arms so that your arms are out like a big V. And then have the palms of your hands down on the floor. So your head is just resting, your hips are released, you're just dropping your hips down and push down. So let's add some work here. Press down with the palms of your hands so that you can feel that engage in the back of the arms, through the armpit, and across the chest. And you might even feel this in your upper back. So again, it really depends on your strength and your range of motion, how you feel this. This is just a nice way to start engaging the chest muscles a little bit. Those chest muscles go the whole way across the chest and they insert in the front of your shoulders. So that area right above your armpit is all chest muscles. So we're trying to stretch that now. And then release. And come up. And reach the arms up high. And then open the arms and gently twist toward the right. Lift up high. And gently twist the other way. Reach high. And clasp your hands behind your back. And as you're sitting here on your knees, if this gets uncomfortable, you can come up high. And you can also walk your knees in. So go to where you need to go. But if it's not bothering your knees, try staying down on sitting your bottom on your heels. And then gently lift up your arms a little bit to the back. And if you can't clasp your arms, that's fine too. Just reach the arms back. So again, we're trying to get a little bit of a stretch through the chest. Now sweep your arms up overhead and bring the arms down to cactus arms. So let's twist again. Let's reach up and then bring the arms down and twist to the right. So you feel a twist in your lower back. Inhale, reach up and twist the other way. Reach up and twist using your breath. Reach up and twist again. Reach up and lower your arms down. And come forward. Hands are under your shoulders. I'll turn to the side. So hands under your shoulders. Let's move between cat and cow. So in your cat pose, you round the back, pull the belly in, push your hands down to the ground. And then on the inhale, you shift, lift chest. Round the back. Exhaling, squeezing your lower belly. Inhale as you move into your cow. Again, opening that chest. When we sit a lot, when we sit frequently, our posture tends to fail us and we round the back, shoulders are hunched forward, or maybe you're twisted or tilted to the side when you're propped. If you're driving, I always pick on my husband, but he leans to the center of the car because his arm is on the armrest and he's leaning. And so he's very imbalanced. So whatever that might look like for you, let's try and correct that during this process, during our entire practice today. And then let's try out in the real world to sit up tall or stand more often. After this, breath in and breath out, come to neutral. Now keeping your left hand on the floor, lift up your right arm, look up, and let's hold here. Reach fingers to ceiling so that you can feel this on your lower back. Feel the power through your arms. And again, you feel that stretch front of the shoulder, the outside part of the chest. And let's thread the needle, taking your arm down, dropping to your shoulder, dropping your head to the floor, and wrapping your other arm around your back. Release hand to floor. Take your gaze and follow your other arm as it reaches to the ceiling and then returns down to the floor. And we switch. Lifting up that left arm, looking up. Thread the needle, breathe in. Exhale as you come down to the shoulder. Dropping your head to the floor and wrapping your arm around your back. Using your breaths to find some ease in your pose. Funneling those breaths into the tight spots in your body. I like to move just a little bit deeper into my poses on the exhales. So maybe that works for you. Return the hand to the floor. Follow your other hand with your gaze. Look up. And release. Let's warm up the wrists a little bit. Shift forward and back. And as you're shifting, you can feel your core muscles engage. And one more time. And come back. Let's turn the hands around. See how this feels. Shifting forward, feeling that stretch on the front of your arm, especially your lower arm. Last one. And release. Good. Release and come back. And let's stand tall on the knees again. Make sure you have some space. I kind of turn around a lot on my mat. I'm blessed to have this nice square mat because then I can turn so you better see the poses. So let's move into some low body stretches, taking that right leg forward and sink down. So as you are coming into this low lunge, your knee, your back leg is under your hip. Your front leg has a 90-degree angle. And sink your body down. So allowing that right leg to be powerful and allowing the left leg and up through the hip flexors to stretch. Now let's return to those arm movements. Reach up and twist. Reach up. Twist the other way. And reach up. This time we'll hold. So twist and hold your pose. And as you're holding this pose, you're allowing the breath to let the muscles release. So on your exhale, allow the muscles to just let go through the hips and through the thighs so that you can sink deeper. Come to the center. Bring your hands down to the floor and then bring your foot back. And let's switch sides. So coming forward with your left leg, stepping forward, aiming for a 90-degree angle here on this front knee, letting your body sink. So if you need to put your hands down on the floor, by all means do that. Rolling shoulders back and down. Be gentle with your neck. You're just looking forward. Inhale, reach your arms. Exhale, twist over the leg. Inhale up. And twist. This time we reach and we twist and hold. And come to the center. Hands can come back down to the floor to bring your foot back. Hands down on the ground. Let's move to down dog, lifting up the hips. Dropping your feet down toward the floor. Oh, that feels nice on the back of the legs. Feels nice through the chest and back. Let your head be a little bit heavy. Try not to hyperextend your head, your neck by lifting up and looking. So let's just have a heavy head. And warming up our low legs, come up high on your toes and drop your heels down. One more, lift up. Exhale, drop down. Hold your pose. If this is difficult, try to make it easier. Take your breath, your attention away from the challenge and focus on breathing in and out. Drop your knees down to the floor. And then come forward, and we're going to do just a modified Chaturanga. So what that means is, instead of being up in your plank position, you're going to drop your knees, your back is long, you're pulling in your belly, your hands should be under your shoulders. We're going to come down very slowly, keeping the elbows in. So that you get that resistance as you're coming the whole way down. Keeping your hands in the same position, just lift the chest. Baby Cobra. And your hands are light on the floor. I just don't want you to move the position. Lifting through chest. Feeling your low back muscles working. Release. From here, return to your baby cobra. Lift up. We're going to progress. So stay here, pulling belly away from the mat, lifting high. And then release, come down. Press back to child's pose. Keep your hands in the same position so that you're all set up. Maybe your hips can't go back the whole way because of your arms being extended and your hands being in position, but that's all right. We're going to move forward again to repeat that modified Chaturanga. So hands under shoulders, coming down very slowly so that you're starting to train your arms to come down in this pose properly, and you can build up strength. Now this time, come to a cobra with straight arms, and you may need to adjust your hands a little bit so that you have straight arms and you can lift. So you want your hands to be under your shoulders and not way out in front like so. So trying to, but if you need to, keep your arms bent and extend your arms out, that's fine. But your ultimate goal is to have this nice back bend and to be opening your chest. Press back to your child's pose. Come forward again. This is our final modified Chaturanga. Use your core for strength. Bend the arms, elbows are in. Coming down to the ground. Adjust if you need to. We're moving to upward facing dog. Lifting chest. In up dog, your thighs are off the ground. Push the tops of your feet down into the floor. Keep lifting. Drop your knees, press back to your child's pose. Come to your downward facing dog. We're going to spend the majority of our practice on the floor today, but I would like to do some standing forward folds and some squats. Look toward your hands, step forward, open your feet so that they're hip width apart. And then hang down, ragdoll. So you might need to bend your knees a lot, that's fine. Or if you straighten your legs, just be cautious that you're not locking your knees. And alternate as you need to between a nice long back and a half lift, pulling belly in and then folding forward. As you're folding, can you feel the breath entering not just the chest, but expanding your back? Half lift, lengthen through your spine. Fold, and then rise by rolling up. So you're kind of tucking under your tailbone. Rolling, peeling up, reach up. And then bring your hands down to your sides. I will turn. So from here, open your feet, turn your toes out. I'm just going to play around a little bit in this squat, bringing your hands down to the center of your chest. And you can adjust your feet as you need. And then come down to a squat. And if this is uncomfortable, you can always have your hands down on the floor, and you can actually shift your weight forward a little bit to try and shift side to side. But our goal here is that we're trying to open the legs and open the front of the pelvis, so those muscles that are across your pelvic bone. So trying to open and find some space there. Trying just to loosen up a little bit so that as we return to our seated floor, our floor stretches, you have a little bit more mobility through the hips. Let's bring the hands down and lift up the hips. Feeling this stretch on the back of the legs. Return to the squat. Down and hold, lift chest. Release hands down. Lift up your hips again. Half lift, and then open your feet a little bit wider so that you can shift into a side lunge. Hands are protecting you and they're supporting your body. So you can shift as little or as much as you want to. So just by bending that right leg, you automatically begin to stretch the inner thigh of your left leg. So you can bend just a little bit, or you can come down to the floor. And if you're coming down toward the floor, take the toes of that left leg up. And then you can either keep your hands down on the floor or try lifting up through the chest. So it's one of the beautiful things about the practice of yoga is that it's very individual, and yet we practice often as a community, as a group. But each person's practice is very individual. It's very personal. So embrace that. Hands come back to the floor if you've lifted them off. Come to the center. Take a half lift. Let's just lengthen through the back. And then shift to the left. So again, that could be as little or as much as you choose. Take your time getting into your pose. Maybe you notice that one side has a lot more flexibility than the other. Just use that as some knowledge and pay attention to what you're doing over the course of your day. And maybe you can figure out what's causing that imbalance. Maybe you're always standing with your right hip cocked to the side and you're not standing up tall. So that'll certainly change the muscles on your body. Bring your hands down, shift to the center again. Once your hands are in the center, lift up, half lift. Now move your left hand under your center of your body and then revolve and twist open. Look to the ceiling. You're aiming to have a nice long spine here, pushing your hips back. Looking with a gentle twist of the neck toward the ceiling. And then switch. Lifting up the other side. And lower down. Half lift, fold. Bring your hands to your hips and then lift up using your core. Good. And let's walk your feet in. Beautiful, and have a seat. Extending the legs out. So you're sitting up nice and tall. Bringing the toes toward you. Rolling shoulders back and down. Fold forward. So to do this fold, you can reach for your toes, or you can keep your hands on your shins. And you're actually pulling in your belly, the lower abs. You're still breathing, so you're just engaging the area below the belly button. Pushing your lower back to the back of the room. taking the crown of the head toward your feet. And fold. With each exhale, lengthening your back muscles, your leg muscles. Slowly rise. Bring the soles of your feet together. Here's where we're going to hold our poses a lot longer. So the beginning of practice, I was trying to warm up your body, even though we weren't doing a vinyasa type class, we still wanted to warm up a little bit. So bringing the blade of your foot together, those outer edges, and then opening like a book so that you can really feel how that helps to get your inner thighs to release. Keeping your elbows in. Begin to bring your chest down to your feet. Using your breath on the exhale, sinking deeper. And slowly rise. Extending your right leg out so it's a little bit toward the edge of your mat. Just a little bit on the angle. And then bring your other foot in toward your inner thigh. Let's turn, fold over the leg. So as you're folding, you're trying to keep your shoulders level. Taking your time. If you're reaching for your feet and you notice that your shoulders are rising up, then just actively push the shoulders down. Pull your low back muscles, engaging them, and then fold. Slowly roll up. And let's twist a little bit. So just sitting tall, keeping your legs in the same position. Twist the other way. Look over your shoulder. You're twisting and revolving from your lower back. And so what I mean by that is you're not trying to twist by lifting your shoulders and turning your head. So you're actually twisting from the low back, and that'll move your whole torso. So you can put your hands gently on the floor if you want to, and walk your fingers away to help your body train to twist. Come to the center. Extend your right hand palm up and reach your thumb on the top of the foot and your other fingers wrap around the bottom of the foot. And if you don't have that range of motion through your arms, you can just place the top of your hand down to your shin. Other arm reaches up. Look up at that hand. And then extend the arm over and aim to reach for your foot and continue revolving. So now you're looking toward the ceiling and you feel this great stretch along your left side. Keep pushing your left hip toward the floor. Keep pushing your left bent knee down toward the floor so that you're anchored as you are revolving and twisting. And slowly rise. And turn to the front and switch legs. Extending that left leg, bringing your right foot in. Sitting tall. That right leg is aiming to go down toward the ground. Let's twist, fold. Lengthening the back of the legs, feeling it through the back. Slowly rise. Let's revolve. One hand to the front of the body, one in the back, and gently twist. Twisting through the back. Aiming to keep that right leg. So what sometimes happens is we start to lift up. So stay engaged, press the leg down, twist. Try to keep your shoulders relaxed. Gently turning your head. And come to the center. Flip over your hand, your left hand, reach for your foot. Reach to the ceiling and extend your arm. Maybe you can reach your toes, maybe not. If not, you can just keep your arm up in the air and look toward that palm. Pushing that right leg toward the floor, right hip down toward the floor. And take another full breath. And rise. Coming up. So open the legs in a straddle. Toes are up. And hands can be on the floor or on your legs, whatever is most comfortable for you and whatever helps you remember to keep the shoulders down. So pushing your heels away from you, bringing your toes up, keeping your knees toward the ceiling so that you're actually stretching more of the inner thigh, then you can start to move forward. So staying focused that you're not allowing your knees to roll or your toes to roll, okay? So you're really trying to increase the stretch in through your pelvis and into your inner thighs. So if you want to, you can open your arms or continue taking your arms forward. It's a great way to breathe and release the tension. And as you're folding forward, you can feel the breath in your back. And slowly rise. Bring your legs in. Take your right heel toward your left hip, down toward your bottom, and then cross that left leg over for a seated spine twist. And I like to put my hands down on the floor and lift up my hips and then settle back down so that my spine is long, and it also resets the hips. So if you have some challenges with imbalances through the hips, and you're not resetting, then you're encouraging the stretch with your hips being uneven, if that makes sense. So I know I struggle with my hips being a little bit out of balance. So this helps to reset, and we're in good alignment to turn in our twist, and then we can stretch the muscles that need to be stretched and encourage that proper alignment. Continuing looking behind you. So still working through the back, but now feeling this more in the outer part of the hip, so you can hopefully feel this in your left glute and the left outer part. And then depending on what you're doing with your arms, you can have a bigger stretch through the back and through your upper body. Release and untwist. Switch sides. Crossing over, lifting up, landing, being tall through the back, revolving and twisting toward the leg, placing your arm, wrapping it around. We're going on the outside part. But again, just being cautious that if you go on the outside part that you're not lifting up. Release. Uncross. Let's take that right leg down toward the ground for our double pigeon. fire log, whatever you want to call it. So you're aiming to stack. So you can take that right foot under your left knee, left foot over the right knee. Pull the toes in so that you're dorsiflexing, so active here, and maybe this is where you stay. Your other option is to begin to fold forward, feeling that pressure, that stretch on the left side of the hip. Just go as slowly as you need to, not forcing a stretch at all. So just gently allowing the breath to, as you exhale, letting your body release, and notice how your body can get heavier and drop down, and the tension gets easier. It starts to fade. Slowly rise. And switch. Other leg on top. Take your time as you set up. Some crackling and popping here. Sometimes that happens as your muscles relax and lengthen and allow the joints to just kind of realign. Take your time. Move into your pose. Continue your breath. Keep your focus on your breath. And slowly rise. Okay. So if you do have a block, let's get that. And just an FYI, you can pick up a block pretty easily at a lot of the dollar stores, like Five Below, you can get one for $5. Or I'm sure you can order them online if you're trying to stay home and be safe. We're going to move into a bridge pose. So if you don't have a block, we're just going into our regular bridge. We're going to hold the bridge for 10 long breaths. So as you're coming up into your bridge, you're pushing your hips up to the ceiling and trying to squeeze your knees together a little bit. And if you do have a block, bring that block underneath you. And you want to place that right around where your lower back and your butt kind of connect. And if you do have a block, you're able to let your body just release. So your feet are steady and you have the ability to open your arms, whether they're in cactus arms or just open wide. When you do these supported stretches, just lets us be able to release, because we know we're not going to fall and we don't have to work to keep the body up. So you can allow the muscles to release further. Keeping your breath flowing. Let's stay for 2 more breaths. And if you have a block, just lift your hips a little bit higher to take that block out. You can use your block or a towel for the next pose. Let's bring the knees into the chest. Just release the lower back a little bit. And then gently come up so that you're seated. And I just have my towel rolled up. I folded it in half. So we're going to go into a modified fish pose. And so you want to put this so your towel can line up along your spine. And you would line up the back on your towel. And then drop your head down to the floor and open your arms so that you can get a little bit bigger stretch just from that little bit of a rise through your back. And if you have a block and you want to go deeper, you follow that same guideline. And you have the block line along your spine so that you can get a really big stretch across the chest. And then you allow your head to just hang and open your arms and just kind of surrender and allow gravity to pull you down so that you're getting a stretch across the chest, up through the neck, using breath. And then to come out of your pose, bring your chin toward your chest, lift up through your forearms and remove the block. And if you're on your towel, you can just kind of shift to one side and pull that towel out. Let's do one more supported stretch, one more supported pose that actually is going to go into our final pose. So from here, you have the choice again of using your towel. You're going to bend the knees and take the feet toward the ceiling. Just lift up your bottom and place the towel under your butt. Feet are flexed, so legs are up the wall, or some people call this waterfall. And if you have a block, you can do the exact same thing by placing the block, again, under kind of that upper flat part of your bottom, and then taking your legs to the ceiling. So just a really nice supported stretch to allow the blood flow to go from your feet down your legs. calming breath. This feels so nice with the support under the back. It does change the pose just a little bit. You may stay here for your final resting pose, or you can remove your block and move to Shavasana. It's totally up to you. It's your practice. So if you're moving to Shavasana, just remove your block or your towel. Extend your arms, your legs. Close your eyes. And stay focused on breathing and being present. And feel free to stay in your Shavasana. Continue breathing and resting the body and keeping your mind active and present. Or you can join me to close out your practice by coming to a seated position. Thank you for joining me today. I hope your chest feels more open and your lower back is a lot more flexible and your inner thighs and pelvic area are all nice and stretched so that you can go about the day standing tall, walking proud. And until I see you again, I wish you well. Namaste. Take care.